What the hell, man? What is that, dude? It sounds like a rock, like tumbling down like a mountain. Like it's so good. It's so punchy, dude. A little more than 15 years ago, Skrillex released his debut EP, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. I don't know how old I was at this point. 15 years ago, I'm 27 now. I was 12, I guess. Whatever it is, this EP basically introduced the world to dubstep. Electronic music wasn't anything new. Dubstep even wasn't, created by Skrillex or anything like that. But it definitely began the dubstep, and you could even say electronic music zeitgeist. EDM and dubstep was like the biggest thing, in the early 2010s. And, going on from there, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, like, electronic music and EDM heavily influenced mainstream music. That's how you know that a movement or a genre is really big, is when pop music starts to emulate that sound. And obviously, probably the biggest example, or one of the biggest examples, Justin Bieber with his album Believe, Purpose, and a big song like Where Are You Now, which was also Skrillex song. So for this video, I figured we'd take down a trip down memory lane and listen to some of my favorite songs from this EP. I mean, because, my God, I would put on my headphones, I would ride on the bus to school, on the way back, whatever it is, and I would just groove to this. And when I was in my room by myself, you best believe I would dance the hell out of it. But here we go. Let's listen to some of my favorite songs from Skrillex's EP, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. Love the harmony there. Together we can play some rock and roll. Hello again to all my friends. Together we can play some rock and roll. Hello again to all my friends. Together we can play some rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Obviously, it's all about the drop, right? Rock and roll. Dude, Skrillex was a master of melody, of creating movement in a song. I mean, come on, like, it's just so groovy. It's got so many elements to it, it's got rock in there, it's got some obviously electronic in there. It's got a lot of stuff going on there.
Road boy bass, mash up the place.
Hey. Wow. Holy crap, the way he changes up this song. There's so much going on. Obviously, the vocal melodies and stuff like that, just being remixed and everything. And then you got that amazing drop and you got that amazing dubstep bass. I mean, amazing strings, really pronounced harmonies there with the strings and the progressions. Amazing change up there, completely changes up the sort of the mood of the song right there. It's absolutely awesome, dude. I mean, it's Skrillex, you know, and I guess not just Skrillex, dubstep was an interesting sort of genre, right? Because to anybody who would listen to this, I could see how people would be like, oh, this sounds just like garbage. Like literally, like it sounds like a trash can, you know, became a musician. That's what it sounds like. And I totally get that because it's raunchy, it's nasty, it has a lot of grit to it. You know, like literally the bass, you know, dubstep sound it sounds like a gurgle. It sounds like a monster, like you know, just like mouth washing. You know, that's what it sounds like. You know, it sounds like Sprite. You know, and it sounds like Sprite all over your face on the TV screen. You know, no signal. That's all that this sounds like. You know, and a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. I think at the time, even I thought it was awesome. I thought it was so interesting, and it just goes to show again how much electronic music can be, you know, music. You know, it can make you groove. It can be beautiful. I've always said music is sort of an exploration of emotions, you know, like this type of music right here, you know, may not be the most gorgeous, you know, most like smooth, you know, may not be jazz, you know, may not be classical music, but it is a type of emotion, you know, maybe it's rage, you know, maybe it's euphoria, you know, in its most intense form. Maybe it's horniness, you know, maybe it's just joy and excitement, you know, just, I don't know, you know, whatever it is, you know, and it's just, that's what music is, man. Music is a vehicle to all these different kinds of emotions, whether it be, you know, super positive, super mellow, super negative. It's all valid, you know. If it makes you feel something, it succeeded, you know, in my opinion. Now, you know, may make you, you know, may make you feel disgusted, you know, and that's your prerogative. But like, I don't know what type of brain you have to love this type of music. Obviously, it was very popular anyway. It didn't matter, and it was popular with the kids, you know. So it's absolutely amazing, you know. Like it just is, and it makes you dance. That's really the most important thing. But man, that drop right there is iconic, right? What the hell, man? Like, what is that, dude? It sounds like a rock, like tumbling down like a mountain. Like it's so good. It's so punchy, dude. And I love too how Skrillex changes up, like he has this, you know, very disco type of, you know, groove to it, and then he also changes it up and makes it more legato, and then he comes back to the disco beat. It's great. It's great stuff, man. Next song, probably the most iconic song from the EP, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. This one is not my favorite track, but it was super iconic, man. It's really rich, really rich. The chords there just go into your ears so well. the producer tag of Skrillex, oh my God, it's awesome. I love it. It's so iconic. You know, it's really interesting. It's fascinating how this song in particular, I think it was more popular than the other songs, Rock and Roll and Kill Everybody. It was the song really that I mean, it is the title track, right, of the EP. It's fascinating how this one is the most popular one. It's slow, you know, it's kind of mellow, but it is dubstep, you know, like to a T. You know what I mean? Like this is what the genre is, you know. It may not be super dancey or super groovy. It can be. However, this is what dubstep, like, you know, like it just is to the max. You know what I mean? Like if you are not a fan of the dubstep sound, you hate this song. This song sounds like acid to you. It sounds like death. You know, that's what it sounds like. Like it just, the drop to it is super mellow. It's slow, you know, and it's like, it sounds awesome to me, you know, but if you hate, like, there's just the sound alone, this will drive you nuts. And that's what's fascinating to me, is that this is the one that, like, you know, this really just, the fact that this one was the biggest hit showed that, like, people really like that dubstep sound, you know, like it just, there's something about it, you know, it just sounds cool. It sounds awesome, right? It's like sort of the evolution of the electronic bass sound, you know, where, you know, in the same way that guitar, you know, sort of evolved into the electric guitar sound, that very distorted wah-wah sound. Like, to some people, it's annoying. To many people, the right people, they love it, right? Because it sounds awesome. And so this was a sort of an evolution of the bass electronic sound, you know, and this is just like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just to the max. It was cranked up, you know. And I think it's fascinating. I totally see how it sounds like crap, but like that's kind of the point, you know what I mean? And there is melody to it, you know, like it sounds awesome. In a way, it sort of awakens like the primal, you know, nature to us, you know, like just this sort of like, it is pure emotion. It is pure guttural emotion, you know, what that sound is and the melody to it. Dun, 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 dun. Like it just, I'm trying to sort of create the melody here. Obviously, I'm not the dubstep sound here, but that's kind of what the melody is, right? And it sounds kind of like whatever when I do it, but then when you know, pitch it all the way down and you have that distorted bass sound, then it sounds awesome. You know, it's really fascinating. And then, you know, there's this dichotomy, you know, to electronic music and to dubstep, where you have that sort of room to breathe. We have this like melody here. We have it's very airy, you know, the complete opposite of what that drop is. And so when the drop comes, it's satisfying, right? It feels like we're traveling. You'd be engaged, right? Because if the track was this the entire time, you know, if the track was this the entire time, it would just be too much, right? I love that. Absolutely love it. Next up, we have my favorite track of this entire EP, Kill Everybody. I love to dance. I love MJ, you know, so this track, it was a no-brainer to be made. "12-year-old me, I thought this was edgy as hell, right?" Oh, wee wee. Isn't it so awesome, dude? Isn't it incredible? This song has a movement that it's difficult to explain in words, but I'm gonna try to. It has this groove to it that like it is such a unique groove that I don't think I've ever heard anything like it. And I guess, yeah, that's like sort of a cop-out sort of comment because, you know, a lot of songs are pretty unique, right? But also not. But this, especially the production behind it and the instrumental choices, oh my God, it creates a texture and an identity to the song that I can't find anywhere else. Like I've never found it. This beat, this groove right here, man. And let me see. So obviously you have the classic dubstep, you know, like you have that right there, and that's awesome. That's all well and good, but it's all about the atmosphere that Skrillex creates in this section. Like you have this underlying sort of just, it's this like sort of hiss, like everybody in the world. It's this sort of underlying hiss, and then you also have this he creates a beat with like this like it's so fucking cool, dude, you know, and it just sounds awesome, dude. It's super cinematic, it's super atmospheric. It feels foggy. It feels like within all this groove and within all this dance, there's this like air of weirdness, you know, of it's unsettling. It is. I mean, obviously the title of the song, you know, is super unsettling. But it's just, there's something evil about it. There's something daunting and weird about it. He gets a nice little break here. He also, that's sort of just kind of underneath there. The way he builds it with those synths there, it's great melodies right there. But you know, all this mixture, you know, of just, he lets the song kind of breathe, and then he puts in, you know, these dancey synths, right? You know, like we go from here. Just kind of lets the song breathe, you know, to that. Back to letting the song breathe. This is like genius, absolute genius. It makes me want to fly. It makes me want to dance. It is a feeling. The best kind of music makes you feel things that is difficult for you to put into words, you know, like, and that's what this song is. Love that. It's so good. And the percussion too is really, really good. It just has this smack to it, you know, it's and I didn't even mention this sort of weird MJ hiccup like noise that he puts in there. The like, it's so. It's so good. It's all these little details that really make the song come alive. It's crazy. Love that sort of pre-drop too. It also, I think it is actually a transformation of the signature line of the song, the "Kill Everybody in the World," but it's like super, like, you know, slow and dubsteppy, right? So it's. Very, very cool. You know, I firmly believe that if Mozart or Beethoven listened to this type of music somehow, some way, right? Like we could bring them alive, we could bring them back, and they hear this music, a lot of people would, you know, easily be like, they would just be aghast. They'd be like, this is awful. I think they would be utterly, absolutely fascinated. Like, this is incredibly complex shit. Yeah, like, you know, technology and computers and stuff like that and DAWs have allowed us to make music more efficiently, faster, but it's still complex as hell. I'm sorry. Like, the idea that somebody sat down behind a computer and created this, it's so many sounds, you know, the fine tuning of every single sound to create this unique identity that this song has, you know, all these instruments, all these harmonies, all these melodies, all this rhythm, you know, and it just has so much movement in this 4-minute song, you know, has so much movement, so many different pieces, so many different layers. And again, the movement, you know, there's different, like, the song is, you know, changes, you know, like, you know, in a span of like 8 bars, you know, like, and it's just absolutely incredible. There's a lot of attention to detail to this, you know, and I'm sorry. I firmly believe, you know, the greats like Mozart and Beethoven would be, you know, at least curious. They would be at least curious, probably at most fascinated. Maybe they would even groove. I don't know. They'd be like, this is insane. You know, that's my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But there we have it, everybody. That was Skrillex, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. 15 years ago this came out, which in modern times, you know, I don't know, something being 10 years, 5 years old, people already, you know, started getting crazy with it, like, you know, let alone 60 years or 50 years old, you know. But 15 years, yeah, it's kind of a long time, you know. I mean, imagine if you had a kid. Now your kid's 15. Like, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. But there it is. Absolutely amazing. I loved it when it came out. I grooved to it. I danced to it. Made me feel stuff. You know, totally did. And now, you know, dubstep is definitely not in the mainstream anymore. But you know, it was the shit, you know, back in the day. And I'm sure that there's still dubstep artists. But hey, EDM is as big as ever still. You know, and certainly Skrillex had a hand in that. But I want to know in the comment section below what you have to say, what you think about Skrillex. And you know, 15 years ago, this EP came out. Do you like dubstep? Do you not like dubstep? Does this make you dance? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below what you have to say. Give this video a like if you like, dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. If it's your birthday, Happy birthday to you, you beautiful creature. But I think that's it for me. You all take care, stay safe, and until next time, I love you.